Good afternoon, everyone, from Dunrovin Ranch in Lolo, Montana. It's a cool spring afternoon, and you are looking at Nicole Crisp. Give us a wave, Nicole. And my husband, Sterling.
No, she said to wave.
Good afternoon, everyone, from Dunrovin Ranch in Lolo, Montana. It's a cool spring.
Something's wrong with the sound right now. I can't hear anything.
Okay, I think we're good to go.
Now it's on.
My bad. All right. So first of all, I want to introduce my husband, Sterling. Can you give us a wave? Why am I getting an echo, Beth? Okay, I think we're good to go.
Now it's on.
My bad. All right. So first of all, I want to introduce my husband, Sterling. Can you give us a wave? We still have a sound issue. Why am I getting an echo, Beth? Okay, I think we're good to go.
Now it's on.
My bad. All right. So first of all, I want to introduce my husband, Sterling. Can you give us a wave? Okay, are we ready to go? I think that this was all my bad. At any rate, I want to introduce my husband, Sterling. We've been married for a long time. Those who have been with us at Days at Dunrovin for a long time know that he and I had a bit of a sabbatical. He's my first husband and my second husband, my ex-husband and my current husband. We're both strong-willed people who have had a great life together. He's a wildlife biologist. I'm very proud of what he has done in his life with his career. He spent about 25 years in Alaska as a grizzly bear researcher, and he's done research with bears in North America on all three species, black bear, grizzly bears, and polar bears. Someday I'll get him on to give us some of his stories. He has some really incredible stories. But today he and Nicole are going to take down the goose decoy from the top of the osprey's nest. And the reason we're doing this today is if you look at the history of Harriet's arrivals, they are almost all of the 80% are between March 31st and April 3rd. So she should be coming back almost any day now. And we want to make sure that her nest is free for her to land. I'm a little concerned about the new camera, etc. I don't think it's going to bother her, but we want to make sure that her nest is looking good for her so that when she does show up, she will be able to land without hesitation. So, Sterling, maybe you could explain, this was your idea from the very beginning to put the goose decoy up there and how you did this. You nailed it to a board, and the board has got strings on the other side. So maybe you'd give us a little explanation.
Yeah, well, it turns out that the geese, if they have an opportunity, and will sometimes take over an osprey nest and lay their eggs on there and defend it very vigorously against the ospreys, frequently successfully, which means that the ospreys are not able to nest there. That has happened here, and at times the Harriet has been able to chase the goose away. One time, the goose laid an egg before Harriet could chase it away, and that egg the ospreys were unable to kick it out of the nest for a long time. They managed to get it off to the edge of the nest where it hung on the edge of the nest, and ultimately a raven came around and took it away. And so the ospreys were able to use it that time. But there are many cases, including right here in Missoula, where ospreys have been able to unsuccessful in trying to take to move the geese off the nest. It's illegal to harass geese because they're migratory waterfowl, and so harassing a nesting goose is illegal. But it's not illegal to prevent them from nesting. If I were to come out here and shoot off a shotgun, for example, that is potentially prosecutable, but I doubt that I'd be prosecuted. But at least it's against the letter of the law. So we, even though I have done that, it's not very successful. In Missoula, at at the Osprey Stadium, where there's an osprey nest next to a baseball stadium for the Missoula baseball team, they put up a cage over the nest to keep the geese off. And that is a problem because the cage, then you have to go up with the lift truck and take the cage off. So what I decided to do was to try and use these ropes so we could pull it off without the expense of hiring the lift truck again. So we have a rope in the front and a rope in the back. And Nicole will pull on the rope in the front and try to get the sled with the goose decoy off, and I will buffer it so it doesn't fall too fast with the rope from the back. And there's also, when James put the decoy up there this last weekend, he put on a lateral rope to keep the wind from blowing the decoy over sideways. So we will loosen that lateral rope as well. And I mean, that did happen one year, that the the decoy got flipped over sideways. It's not too windy today, so I'm not too concerned about that's happening. So we'll go ahead and start working on this. And in a minute, I'll give this rope to Nicole, and I have a longer rope on the other side, which I will loosen, and I'll put a little tape on it where there's a knot attaching the red cord to the cord on the other end, and I will put a little tape over that to keep that from getting hooked up in the twigs and stuff on the nest. So I will let Nicole know when she should pull. Just put a little tension on it to keep it from flipping. And just putting a little electrical tape on here to reduce the profile of the knot. Okay, now I'll loosen the lateral rope. And as soon as I get that loose, we'll start pulling. And pull it as much as you can, to the Okay, go ahead, Nicole. And wrap up the rope and a rubber band that you can use to, to keep the coil good. And you're using that, you can attach it to that. Then, let me see. Then untie the rope on the front of that, and I will and pull it down so that the red rope is all the way down where the sled is. We'll attach the red rope to where you untie it.
Well, that went very smoothly, you guys. Came off without a hitch.
I'll over and cut it if you want.
Yeah,
All right. Okay, now you can undo this. You can keep this if you want. You need it?
probably not. I can probably.
Yeah. Roll all the way through. Suzanne? We can disconnect the lateral one too and throw it away. Or put it on here. Put it on one of these. Oh no. Actually, just wind it up like you did this other one.
Okay.
And here's another rubber band. And just leave it there.
Well, thank you both for doing this. Let's hope that this is just the right timing for Harriet. And at this point, Sally, I'm going to ask you to pass the microphone over to Nicole so she can demonstrate harrowing in the North Pasture.
Okay. Suzanne wants me to pass you this so you can go harrow, and I will take care of everything else here.
Okay. You don't need help with it?
Nope. Thank you.
Yes.
Where's it get stored? Right over here?
Yeah, just anywhere over there.
Okay, so another thing we wanted to sort of show you today is something that we do every year at this time when the snow leaves our pastures. And that is we take our truck and drag a harrow, which is nothing more than a rake-like structure. You can see it behind the truck here. And all it does is it breaks up the manure that's been collecting in the pasture and kind of roughs up the top of the soil. You have to wait until it's dry for us to be able to do this. And the horses will no longer be allowed on this pasture until after the grass is already matured. So in the coming days, the next week or two, you're going to see Nicole put all of the horses together in the arena and in what we call the sorting pen, which is, let me show you where the sorting pen is. It's this area over here that is between the pasture and the stall area. We call it the sorting pen because there's so many gates. There's a gate. Let's see, how many gates are there? There's one there. And then behind these trees over here, there are actually two gates. See if I can get the camera to go over there. Having a little issue here with the camera. So behind this tree, there are two gates, one that goes to the south pasture, another one that goes to what we call the runway. So this gravel area is where the horses will be, and it's very confined for the horses. They're not going to like it. They don't like being this cramped up. But it's really important for both the grass to grow and for them. When the grass starts to grow in the spring, it's very rich in carbohydrates, which can be very detrimental to horses. Horses are used to traveling very long distances, eating very low quality forage. And an irrigated pasture produces high quality forage and very condensed. So it can lead to a situation that is akin to diabetes in people if you let horses eat that early spring grass. So here you can see Nicole is driving the truck around, and she's dragging this harrow. Harrows are something that farmers have used for generations, generally pulled by horses originally, or even by people. Sometimes we have to put some weight, as in some cinder blocks and things of that nature, but you'll see that as she is working, all the manure will be broken up, and the pasture will be ready for us to then start irrigating once the growing season actually starts. Now, we may this year take our manure spreader and take some of the composted manure, which we have stored on the south side of the south pasture, and spread it on the pastures and reseed as well. So there'll be new seeds and there'll be the old grass all coming up together. The horses won't be out back on the pastures until probably the end of May, because that first couple months, April and May, the grass grows so fast and there's so much sugar we can't let the horses eat it. It also stunts the growth of the grass to have the horses eat it back before it's matured. Horses are really smart about finding the sweetest pieces possible. They're like people looking for candy. And if they eat the grass before it matures, then it stunts its growth for the whole season. Whereas if you wait until it's matured, once they've cut it, it'll just grow right back. So this is something that you're going to be seeing Nicole do over the next couple of weeks. You'll be seeing her harrowing, getting our manure spreader going, and spreading old composted manure, which is very rich and very good for the pastures, and then seeding new seed. And then, of course, we'll have to put up our irrigation equipment to make sure it all gets watered. So you can see that spring means work here at Dunrovin. This is something we do every year. And this old stick shift pickup is really typical of what ranch people use for just about everything. You can haul hay in it, you can pull a harrow, you can do just about everything. We're really lucky to have it. A lot of old vehicles find their end of their lives on little ranches like ours. Okay. Well, I'm going to look on my phone to see if there are any questions or comments in the chat. I'd be happy to answer them if you have any. I like your comment, Sharon, about goose painting at the Equestrian Art Extravaganza. You know, one of the things I have wanted to do for a very long time is to start an osprey event and take advantage of March and April winds to have some kind of a osprey kite contest where people could make fun kites in the shape of birds. I haven't ever done that just for lack of a time to do it, but it's something I think would be a lot of fun. So the idea of having an art project based on ospreys is something that really attracts me for sure. Yes, it is really wonderful that Nicole is such a good driver. Okay, I've had questions about the stalls. I'm waiting for my neighbor who has sand and gravel to come out and give me an estimate of what it's going to cost to get him to bring some more sand and gravel so we can refresh all of the sand and gravel before we put the stalls back up. So that could be in the next couple of weeks. Okay, I got a question about how long does it take before the horses can return to the pasture. They will be off the pastures probably until the last part of May. And it really depends on what kind of a spring we have. If the grass matures by mid-May, then we put the horses out there. If it's a cool, wet spring, it may not be until June. It all depends on the growth of the grass. So the nice thing about this is, once the season starts, the horses get exercise actually going to work. So even though they are confined in these small areas, they still will be doing work and getting a lot of exercise. they do get a little owly with each other because they have a lot of pent up spring energy and they don't like being confined to these small areas. So you'll be seeing some, interactions among the herd. And what we try to do is split the herd into two, one group in the arena overnight and the other group in the sorting area. And we try to put, not put all the bullies together so that there's no fights that break out. Okay, if there aren't any more questions or comments, we're going to say goodbye for the day and see you on Thursday with some more Augie training and a visit with Brandon. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Nicole and Sterling, for taking the goose down. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Goodbye.